The Los Angeles Rams are going to continue to hopefully try and surprise some people. At least that's what they hope it to be, but they got to go to Soldier Field in Chicago to make that happen. Cam Williams, look at that. Caleb Williams. Jeez, what am I thinking here? Caleb Williams got the first win in Chicago in the playoffs in a very long time. In a wild fourth quarter comeback against the Packers last week, 25 points scored in the third quarter. I don't think that works again against the Rams. I think you have to play all four quarters against this Rams team if you want to win a football game again at Soldier Field. Biggest question is, can Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams make that happen again? Can they do that? Can you see a Bears team being able to play 4 full quarters against this Rams squad? If not, you're talking about a potential upset.
Yeah, I'm not leaning towards the Chicago Bears being able to play 4 full quarters, and then it becomes how much can they capitalize basically in like the second half, and can they keep the lead for the Rams manageable, right? If it becomes a tale of two halves and LA scores, 400 points in the first half, now you have to score 400 in the second. If you're only down 4 points in the first half, even if LA, just completely outplays you in every phase of the game, we've certainly seen games where, a team they're just defeated in the line and they aren't making any catches and they're giving up tons of yards, but somehow they're only down 6 or they're only down 3 or whatever it is. Then you're in a manageable position. And I do think that I like the Chicago Bears late in this game, but can they keep the lead within striking distance? Because you can't find yourself down, 21 or whatever it was. I forget the exact margin. It was right around that 20 mark late in the game against the Packers. You can't find yourself in that same position against the Rams. I think that'll be too much. If you're only down 10, with a full quarter to go, that's very doable. And I think that the Bears can get it done if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure. The odds on this one right off the bat, just digging into it, Rams are actually a 3.5-point favorite. Over under sitting at 48.5. I do think that over is pretty safe. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind is like, I think that this is going to be a high scoring affair, no matter what side it looks like. I'm kind of leaning towards taking Chicago with the 3.5 points. I don't know if they win this football game, but that half really is just kind of looking at me. It's like, I feel like if this game, this is a game I totally could see could come down to a game winning field goal. That's what I'm thinking here. Big man Mervis might come in for a win here for the Rams to get a field goal. And of course, the fact that special teams was such a big deal last week in Soldier Field with McManus for the Green Bay Packers missing 7 points wouldn't shock me if it came down to a special teams victory again in Chicago, maybe the other way around. I'm going to lean the Rams winning this football game. I think it's inevitable that the Rams continue to move on. McVay is just such a good offensive mastermind. And they're going to continue to talk about how great Ben Johnson is at the offensive side. But I think their luck's going to run out just a little bit if I'm a Chicago guy. But hey, look, this is year one of Ben Johnson. You're already doing amazing things. And I think you like the trajectory moving forward for Chicago. I just don't think it makes it to the NFC Championship in year one of Ben Johnson, especially since you run into McVay. Give me the Rams to win this game, but by less than 3.5 points. I think it's a game-winning field goal. Give me like a 2-point victory for the Rams.
Hey, quick timeout. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below. We're live literally every morning during the week talking about the biggest stories in sports. So you hitting subscribe is completely free and helps us out more than you know. It's a win-win all around. All right, back to the clip. Wow. Yeah, 67% of the money is on Chicago to cover the 3.5. I'm seeing maybe 4.5. You could get it in some places, but only 43% is on them to win the game. Now, when you're looking at that, you say, oh, well, then 57% of the money is on LA to win the game. I actually see that as it's not as one-sided in the victory department as it is in the spread department. And so I am leaning towards the Bears here now, not only because of these gambling statistics that I'm seeing, partially because of the fact that I've seen a lot of holes in the LA Rams. Up until this point, they haven't played that well, especially late in the season. I think a lot of people are still looking at that start to the year for LA. I mean, they did start the year ridiculously hot. After losing to the Eagles and the 49ers, they ripped off, 6 straight wins before losing to the Panthers. And since that loss to the Panthers, they've beat the Cardinals, beat the Lions, loss, and then the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of been shaky over the last 6 weeks or so, or whatever that count would be. I like the Bears here, But like you said, like it's going to be tight. It might be a last second field goal. It might be one of those games where um I it's weird to even like throw this out in the universe. This hasn't been a conversation I feel like for a long time, but the Rams miss a PAT early. So the Bears are down 13, or if it's double field goal instead of a touchdown at some point, Bears are down 13, touchdown, PAT wins it. You never know. I think it could be something like that. I think it will be very, very close, but somehow, some way, I think the Bears can get this done. I am leaning in the Bears direction here, which is just mind-boggling. What a show today. We're talking about the Giants in a positive light. The Bears can go to the NFC Championship game. I don't know what is happening, what's in the water, but man, I just have some sort of gut feeling, man, some sort of vibe that the Bears are going to be absolutely in this game.
I feel like if the Bears win this game, whether they win by 1 or they win by 20, they have to really get Colson Loveland going off again. He had 15 targets in the game against Green Bay, had 8 receptions for 137. He didn't score on a touchdown, but he averaged 17 yards a catch. If you want to get Caleb Williams going in this one and not wait for the fourth quarter, you need to get your easy targets, like from Colson Loveland, going from the jump. And that means being able to expose the Rams linebacking core, which right now is what everybody's talking about with the Rams defensive core, how they've looked all season long, bringing in guys like no-name guys coming off waivers and then giving them extensions, right? So like that is something that I think they have to get done right away. If they can make that happen, and of course the other things fall through as well. DJ Moore steps up, the running game steps up, you get some things going, you get a fluent offense from the jump, not the fourth quarter. That's the thing that gets me. You are making great takes on the Rams because the Rams have been such a lackluster team in the second half of the season. I mean, they almost lost to the Panthers, and that's nothing to shake about because the Panthers obviously are on the up and up. But the Rams we're talking about Matt Stafford here. We're talking about the player that is expected to win MVP. We're talking about a defense that has shown very good signs, but they have been very lackluster over the last couple weeks of the year. And there's a reason why they're playing for the second week in a row and not being the number 1 seed in the NFC, something that they expect to be earlier this season. If the if the Chicago Bears can be, we're all over the place today. If the Bears can be a 4-quarter team, I think this is easily a Bears win. I just don't know if they can do that.
Yeah, that's the biggest question, right? Is can the Bears string it together? And that was why I led this whole thing off with if they can find a way to keep it within striking distance late in this game. And that's where my mind immediately goes. I am not going to bet on the fact that the Bears can play this really tight the entire way. They are going to have to strike late, if you ask me. I don't know, man. I'm not counting Caleb Williams out yet after seeing what he did late in that game against the Packers. The ability to throw on the run, weird arm angles. Was every play exactly his and he won every single play late in that game? No, but he did find a way. He had a little bit of that kind of you can't kill me type of vibe. And that's exactly what I think this Bears team needs to harness in this one. I don't think they're going to win the entire game. I don't think they'll win the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. They're going to win enough late to potentially squeak by. That's how I view it. Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching the entire video. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe down below. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring better content to you guys every single day. We're live literally every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Eastern talking about the biggest stories in sports. So if you haven't dropped by, you really should. We love interacting with chatters, hearing your guys' opinions. You could easily become a part of the show. So hit subscribe and tell a friend. I'll see you in the morning.